Likely the rise of Christian nationalism and its push to put Christianity in the center of American culture and politics, that push that we see happening across our country is in part a response to the fear of secularization, the fear in this that's caused by this shift in religious landscape. There's a fear of lost influence, maybe a fear of lost meaning. But there are ways forward that are more faithful to what Paul is saying in Acts 17. There are ways for us to be Christian today that more profoundly honor what Paul said to the Athenians. We might long for days when Sunday mornings were reserved only for church and there weren't sports and all the other many things that we juggle. Long for the days when the pews were packed and when religion created a kind of sense of shared identity. And yet in the time of Paul, Christianity was not the norm. Whatever the religious demographic statistics of our time, we don't have to be afraid, because what was true then is still true now. That where there is life and movement and connection, God is. Where there is life and movement and connection, there is meaning. There was a groundbreaking Cuban-American theologian who taught at Drew Theological School, Ada Maria Asasa-Diaz, whose work really was centered around this fact. She focused on the ways that God and God's wisdom show up not just in the universities or in the churches, but in the lived realities, the daily lives of Latina women, people who are often overlooked, who are on the margins of the university and the church, and so on. Ada Maria used a phrase, lo cotidiano, which means the everyday. For women who are not used to being seen or having a voice, this view of God and meaning is immensely life-giving and hope-creating. Everyday life is not tangential to religious pursuits and the search for God. It's not somehow less holy or less important than the spiritual life. But everyday life itself is sacred, is a site of active theology where meaning exists. Our everyday life is a place where God is active, where grace is alive. Not just in the shrines and the ceremonies and the religious buildings, not just in the big ideas of theology and philosophy, but as we clean our kitchen and take our kids to school, as we share a meal with family and friends, as we go to the doctor or sit on the train, as we care for our neighbor going through a hard time, as we find resilience to face the challenges before us, as we make the effort to act with compassion and for justice. In all of these things, where there is life and movement and connection, God is. Whatever the religious landscape around us, however central Christianity is or is not in the wider society, in all of these things that are part of our everyday realities, there is meaning, there is sacred meaning.